Ready ko to. Ay, basi ko nura ka pa. Sa bagay, makat na. I-edit mo lang. Okay, good day, students of CWTS. Today, I am going to discuss to you about the coverage of the Nstp law, which is RA 9163. Okay? 9163, by the way, what is Nstp? Nstp claims or aims to inculcate civic consciousness and defense preparedness among the Filipino youth. It helps to develop in the Filipino youth the ethics of service and patriotism while they undergo training in any of the three components, which are specifically designed to enhance the students' participation in nation building. The Nstp law, or RA 9163, is labeled or is entitled an act establishing the Nstp for tertiary level students, amending for the purpose Republic Act number 7077 and Presidential Decree 1706, and for other purposes. It was signed by former President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo on January 23, 2002. It is a consolidation of House Bill number 3593 and Senate Bill 1824, respectively passed by the House of Representatives and the Senate on December 19, 2001. The Nstp law, which is RA 9163, there are some changes, made ROTC optional, effective first semester of school year 2002 and 2003. And therefore, it has allowed students to choose from ROTC or military service, LTS or literacy training services, and CWTS or civic welfare training services as a requisite for graduation. By the way, the law says that in order to graduate, you must comply at least 2 semesters of the same program. So if you're enrolled in ROTC or military training for first sem, you must also enroll in military training or ROTC for the second semester. And if you are enrolled in LTS or CWTS for the first semesters, you must also enroll in the same program for the second semester. Otherwise, it will not be credited. So if you enroll for ROTC first sem, you cannot enroll in CWTS for the second semester or vice versa. You must, I would like to emphasize, you must complete at least 2 semesters of the same program. Okay? So, what consists of Nstp? So, the first component is ROTC, which is institutionalized under sections 38 and 39 of Republic Act number 7077. Under RA 7077, compulsory ang ROTC. ROTC is designed to provide military training to motivate, equip, organize, and mobilize the youth for national defense preparedness. It shall instill in them patriotism, moral virtues, respect for rights of citizens, and adherence to the Constitution, which means everything must be in accordance with the Constitution. No president of the Philippines is over and above the Constitution. If the president orders anything which is contrary to the Constitution, then the military, the AFP or the police may opt not to obey, even if the president is commander-in-chief of the Republic of the Philippines, because the Constitution is over and above the president. In fact, the president was elected in accordance with the provisions of the Constitution. The Constitution is the highest law of the land. What is LTS, or Literacy Training Service? It is designed to train students to teach literacy and numeracy skills to school children, out of school youth, and other segments of society who are in need of such services. CWTS, on the other hand, or Civic Welfare Training Services, is designed to involve students actively in activities contributory to the general welfare and the betterment of life of the members of the community, or the enhancement of its facilities, especially those devoted to improving health, education, environment, entrepreneurship, safety, recreation, and the morals of the citizenry. The Department of National Defense, or the DND, the Commission on Higher Education, or CHED, and the Technical Education and Skills Development Authority, or TESDA, lead in the implementation and monitoring of the Nstp. Their primary function is to oversee if the program being conducted in schools is in consonance with the newly revised IRR dated November 13, 2009. By the way, I attended a conference yesterday, and it was announced that there will be a new IRR for RA 9163. Until then, we will follow the old implementing rules and regulation, or IRR. So who is covered? Who is required to take an STP law? An STP as a course, rather. All students, both male and female, enrolled in any baccalaureate degree or a 2-year technical vocational or non-degree courses in public and private schools must complete one NSTP component of their choice for 2 semesters as a requirement for graduation. In fact, there is a new CHED memorandum order which requires that your transcript of records and your diploma will already contain your serial numbers for ROTC, CWTS, or LTS, as the case may be. Without the serial number, which will be given to you after graduation, you cannot request for your diploma or transcript of records. It says also here, you must complete 2 semesters of the same program. So you are not free to go forum shopping, enroll in CWTS first sem, and enroll in ROTC the second sem. Okay? Only your first semester will be credited, and the second semester will not be credited if that is the case. You have to retake the course. Okay? All higher and technical vocational institutions, public and private, must offer at least one NSTP component. But the RA 9163 states that if there are at least 350 student enrollees, there must be an offering of ROTC. In excess of 350, then you can offer other components. In other words, pwede nga i-offer ang ibang nga component if ROTC is first offered in that institution. State universities and colleges must offer ROTC. That's what I said just a few while ago, and at least one other NST component, namely LTS or CWTS. In other words, LTS and CWTS can only be offered if ROTC has been offered. The Philippine Military Academy, or PMA, the Philippine Merchant Marine Academy, or PMMA, the Philippine National Police Academy, or PNPA, and other institutions of similar nature or state university of the same nature, in view of their special character, are not covered by the NSTP law. For example, sa PMA, medyo military training ang orientation sang andang curriculum. And so, they are exempted from offering ROTC. And of course, definitely, there is no offering for CWTS or LTS. Next, private higher educational institutions or HAI and technical vocational educational institutions with at least 350 students may offer ROTC and consequently establish and maintain a Department of Military Science and Tactics, which is still subject to the existing rules and regulations of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. So what is the vision for the NSTP CWTS? CWTS is designed to train students to become innovators of social change with a culture of excellence and leaders with integrity, competence, and commitment in order to render service to the community. It is also designed to develop in the youth the values of patriotism and national pride, discipline and hard work, integrity and accountability for nation building, and volunteerism as valuable and effective members of the National Service Corps of CWTS. So, for those enrolled in CWTS, you will be taught how to the basics of citizenry, the moral values, and other topics. But the goal here actually is to teach you how to organize the community and bring about change and development in the community with your ability to bring about or to organize them so that they can help themselves. So the mission of CWTS is to promote and integrate values education, transformational leadership, and sustainable social mobilization for youth development, community building, national renewal, and global security by, number one, provide relevant activities that will contribute to the physical, intellectual, spiritual, and social development of students to inculcate in students the values of leadership, patriotism, and social responsibility. To train students to become project planners, designers, and managers of innovative and sustainable community service-oriented projects. To conduct capability enhancement for civic welfare services geared towards preparing the youth to become resource-oriented social entrepreneurs, volunteers, and a socio-economic mobilizing force that serves communities as value-driven innovators for progress. To work closely with a network of organizations within and outside the higher educational institution, as well as to create opportunities where students can render direct service to the community. So, in CWTS, you will be taught to organize the community so that the community will help themselves. Okay? And so, the ability to integrate yourself and mobilize the resources of the community, these are the very skills that we need to develop in you so that you can contribute for nation building. Okay? So what are the core values of CWTS? Love of God, human dignity, discipline, truth, goodness, and social responsibility, awareness, innovation, creativity, respect, synergy, and professionalism, excellence and indigenous learning, protection and conservation of the environment, and quality service delivery. At present, we have added a new subject matter, which is national security as well as drug awareness of drugs and the Dangerous Drugs Act of 2001. So these are the new topics which are which are included in the new curriculum for CWTS. By the way, the first 25 hours for CWTS shares a common module with our OTC. So 25 hours of common module. The lecture for CWTS or ROTC or LTS is between 54 to 90 hours. In other words, the first 25 will be focused on common module. So it's the same lesson for all the three components. But after the 25th hour, then there will be differences already in the subject matter of the three components. When what will happen to the graduates of the national of the CWTS and the LTS program? The graduates of the LTS and CWTS program is, according to 9163, the Republic Act, they shall comprise the National Service Reserve Corps. Okay? And they can be tapped for literacy and civic welfare activities through the implementing or tripartite memorandum of understanding or agreement between CHED, TESDA, and the DND. So the graduates of CWTS and LTS will comprise the National Reserve Corps or NSRC. At present, we have not organized the NSRC, although it is specified in RA 9163. But yesterday, I attended a meeting for all Nstp directors, and it was announced that we are going to activate now the NSRC. Why? Because we know that there are many calamities happening in our country. We have floods, we have typhoons, we have earthquakes, we have volcanic eruptions. And so if NSRC is activated, they can help during calamities and emergency situations. The NSRC can also be activated during times of war. We do not know if one country will invade the Philippines because of the issues in the West Philippine Sea. Then at least every able-bodied men and women will be utilized to organize the civilian population behind our front lines. I'm sure the ROTC will comprise the fighting force, and so the CWTS will be there behind the lines and organize the civilian population. The graduates of ROTC shall automatically be part of the Citizen Armed Force pursuant to RA 7077. Okay? So, we expect. So, by the way, all students, as a policy of the University of Antique, all students taking up taking up Bachelor of Science in Criminology are required to take ROTC. No? You cannot enroll in CWTS, in LTS, although it is allowed by law. No, you can choose, but as a policy of the school, we require you to take ROTC. The reason is because when you enter the military, no, or you enter the police force, usually they will ask if you are a graduate of ROTC. You can enter the Armed Forces of the Philippines even if you are not an ROTC graduate. However, it is an added advantage if you are a graduate of ROTC yourself. If you enter other allied military services like the Coast Guard, mas added advantage if you're a graduate of ROTC. That is why for students who are enrolled in BS Criminology program, BS in Marine Transport, and BS in Marine Engineering, although you have a choice under the law, but we encourage you to enroll in ROTC. If for some reason you cannot enroll in ROTC because for medical reasons, there is no reason why you should take BS Criminology. Because if you enlist in the armed forces of the Philippines or in the allied military services, or if you enroll in the Philippine National Police, definitely you will need your knowledge in military training. Okay? So kung may diferensya ang imong heart dyan, daw wala man ti rason, ma-enroll ka pa sa CRIM. No? Okay. Why is it that we also require BS in Marine Transport and BS in Marine Engineering to enroll in ROTC? Because under the law, although graduates of Marine Transport and Marine Engineering may work as seafarers or private seafarers employed in private organizations and institutions or shipping, in times of war, they will automatically be drafted and form part of the Philippine Navy. The Nstp, CWTS, or MTS, Military Training, or ROTC, or the LTS, is a non-credit, non-academic course, but it comprises 3 units. Okay? It spans a total of 54 to 90 hours and covers 2 semesters. Sorry. So we will divide all the relevant topics to the required number of training hours for 2 semesters. After completion of your CWTS or LTS or MTS or ROTC, your names will be forwarded to the CDC for ROTC and to CHED for CWTS or LTS. But if you are enrolled under TESDA program, your names will be forwarded to TESDA. Only if you have grades, you have fulfilled passing grades for both CWTS1 and CWTS2, or MTS1 and MTS2, or LTS1 or LTS2. So you must pass both. So by the way, if you cannot pass your NSTP, you cannot get your diploma and you cannot graduate. How much do we charge? The NSTP fee is charged from every student. And under the law, it says it will form part of the trust fund or fiduciary fund of the NSTP unit. However, with the implementation of the TES or tertiary education subsidy, as well as UniFast program, the UniFast is the program where you have free tuition and free miscellaneous, including free NSTP fees. Your fees are not classified as fiduciary fund, but as tuition fees. And therefore, the university may realign any excess budget which are not utilized for the year. Okay, they can realign it because it is now classified as tuition fee. And you are only charged 50% of the prescribed payment for every unit in the university. Okay, so instead of paying for 3 units, you will be required to pay 50% of that, which is 1.5 of the regular rate for tuition fee. But you don't have to worry because in the University of Antique, your NSTP fees is covered by your Unifast. What else? Mm, oh, by the way, we do not offer LTS in the University of Antique. We have only two components, namely the Military Training Services or ROTC, and then Civic Welfare Training Services or CWTS. So you have only two choices. All other programs and courses, you may choose between ROTC and CWTS, with the exception, of course, of BS Criminology, BS in Marine Transport, and BS in Marine Engineering, where we generally advise them to take up MTS or ROTC. Stop lang. Pwede rin. Pang-edit ta. May mga lol ako. I-check a bit. Try natin at pamatian ko ng record. Stop recording.